And we back, baby, with another reflection on the daily Vedantic. Today's episode and those going forward will be from a spot we just moved to. So getting all the gear together and figuring out, I actually can't find which box the main camera is in. So we'll see how the iPhone performs. The reflection that has been so front of mind during a move like this is that this too shall pass. It's so silly to apply it to something like a move when it can apply to trauma or it can apply to some tragic event. But this too shall pass keeps coming up again and again. One of the things that I've mentioned on the episodes for the Daily Vedantic is this aspect of, and it was a Vedantic monk that said this in a lecture that I loved, and it stuck with me ever since, that the optimist sees the light at the end of the tunnel. The pessimist sees the tunnel but not the light. The realist sees the tunnel, the light, and the next tunnel. In other words, the realist sees the upside, sees the reality of nothing's perfect, can properly assess a situation. And the root of all frustration is mismanaged expectations. If you expect there to be a winter and cold months, you're not frustrated by them. If you expect there to be perfect human behavior by your spouse, you can be extremely frustrated by them. The root of our frustration comes down to mismanaged expectations. At nearly 40 and living in a couple countries and 6 or 7 cities in the last 15 years, I am very comfortable with a move. I still get the amnesia of them, I forget just how much goes into a move. But leading up to this one, I had a proper expectation. It's going to feel completely out of sorts, out of routine. There are going to be some fun, novel things. There are going to be some new surprises. We moved to Malibu and from Venice, and just found out from the gardener that he found a rattlesnake in the backyard last week with three little girls. So you get some surprises that you didn't actually factor in, that obviously no one's going to mention when you're looking at a new place to live. That is just part of any new adventure. You cannot foresee it all. Any adventurous path is a surrender of sorts into the unknown. But with that proper assessment of a move is going to have all of these aspects, all of these loose ends, just staring in the eye and the face every day for sometimes 2, 3, 4 weeks, boxes to unpack. It is, can't find a camera, for example. It becomes so valuable to see these kinds of things for what they are before the move, during the move, to see the tunnels and the lights and the next tunnels and the next lights. I love that orientation around realism because that is a Vedantic principle. To see things with the edge of sobriety, with clarity. That is what philosophy, it's what I say often on this podcast. That is what philosophy is. It is clarity. And in the midst of what can feel like so many things popping up, missing, loose ends, such long to-do lists, it's such a helpful reminder to recite to oneself, this too shall pass. And when it becomes a pattern of thought, where you remind yourself of that when it's something as mundane as traffic, when it is something as catastrophic as a fire that burns your child's school, that can destroy homes, and anything and everything in between, even with death of a close family member. When a friend or someone that I know goes through death of an unexpected death of a family member, and they're asking me if they know that I lost my sister when I was younger, when I was 15. If I'm asked about it, I offer that it takes about 2 years. You might think you'll never laugh again, and then 6 days later, I remember being so surprised that I was even laughing at something after 5 days of thinking, oh no, I'm wondering if I'd ever laugh again. And it had taken about 2 years, but 2 years, it is progress. It is evolution. Time does heal our wounds. So whether it is something mundane or something tragic, that pattern of thought, investing in this pattern of thought where you know it has power. And in the beginning, maybe it's just trying it out, kicking the tires of this too shall pass. Maybe it even feels like pretend. You don't quite believe it. When you invest in it and you see it work, like any of the timeless principles. When you see it work, then when you tap into it again and again and again, like a developed muscle, it's there at the ready. And it becomes invaluable. So in the midst of a move, if you're going through one, if you're looking for a job, it feels like a season of change for a lot of people around us. And if you're going through that and there is immense discomfort, you can trust in the timeless wisdom within the phrase, this too shall pass. If things are going well, if you are on top of the world, as we say often in this podcast, to expect the worst is pessimism. To be prepared for the worst is philosophy. So if you feel like you're riding high, you're on top of the world, right now is a great time to prepare for the inevitabilities of life. To properly assess, there is no life that is just a nice upward curve. There is always a world of opposites waiting for us in this adventure that we call life. So even in the midst of a summer season in life, it could be helpful to prepare for any of life's inevitabilities, anything to change, knowing that even when the sun is shining, this too shall pass. That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We will see you next time.